Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
Driving into Murray. Somebody's throwing something on the floor. 46 seconds to go and a whistle blew. It's a chicken wing. Why would someone throw something that good out on the floor? It's crispy. It's warm.
Yes.
And I almost had to go out and I'm so hungry.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Talk about it.
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets.
Family, what's good? Welcome back to another edition of Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets. You already know how we do, family. Brought to you as always. It's your host, Justin, aka Just Blaze. Family, you know the drill. To get in contact with me, you can always hit me up and follow me on Twitter at JustBlaze_513, on IG at JustBlaze513, on Facebook and YouTube. Search Above the Rim Podcast. Also email the show as well, Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Tap in and leave the family a voicemail. You know the line is always open. 908-718-1592, family. Make sure you calling in. Let me know your thoughts about everything that's going on in the NBA. Playoff time coming soon. Best way to support the show is by copying your merch. As always, playoffs are on the way. So to show my gratitude, family, 20% off all orders, all merch until the end of the playoffs. Use promo code ATR Playoff. That's ATR Playoff. I'll put it on the screen as well. Link is in my bio. Show some love. I appreciate it, of course, family. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for keeping and rocking with me, reaching out to me. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you leave your boy a review on iTunes and Spotify. If you rock with the show, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe, hit that comment, show some love, tell me your thoughts. I want to hear from you as well, family. Let's get right into it, man. A lot of things are happening in the NBA right now, as you know, as I know, as we all know, as usual. So let's get right into it, man. I haven't been on the mic in a while, so I got to run through a few things that I didn't get to discuss before. But let's talk about it real quick, family. I'm just going to run through this. Quick thoughts, March Madness. Shout out to UConn. Shout out to South Carolina for winning the national championship. Shout out to Dawn Staley as well for adding another championship to her mantle of greatness. Love to see her win. Love to see her do a thing. Women's basketball right now is in a great place, and everyone should be checking out women's basketball on the collegiate level and in the WNBA as well. Speaking of the WNBA, the draft was on Monday. Shout out to those ladies doing their thing. One of the best and one of the most noticeable WNBA drafts in recent memory. We got all the draftees that everyone knows about. Caitlin Clark, as we know, got drafted number 1 overall pick by the Indiana Fever. To nobody's surprise, she's going to be balling in the WNBA. Let's see how her game translates from college to the WNBA, which I think it will. And I think she's going to be scoring, having her very usual scoring prowess, as we all know. The surprise of the night, though, in my opinion, was the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Sky drafting the double pick of Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso going to the Chicago Sky. 2 rivals in college who turned into teammates now in the pros in the WNBA. So shout out to the Chicago Sky for putting those 2 ladies together, 2 powerhouses together, 2 rebounding extraordinaires together. So we're going to see how they dominate the paint in the WNBA. Cameron Brink to the LA Sparks. That was a great pick for them. Aaliyah Edwards to the Washington Mystics. Shout out to them for picking all those ladies. WNBA draft was a great show. They put it together very well. Shout out to those ladies. Continue to be great. WNBA season starts, I believe, May 14th, I believe. Don't be upset at me if I got that date wrong, but somewhere in mid-May, the WNBA season starts. So shout out to that. I will be tuned in, and so will you, family, if you're watching the show. Speaking about the draft also as well, we got to talk about Bronny real quick, family. Bronny James declared for the NBA draft in a surprising move which led to a frenzy of takes all over the place. He also entered the transfer portal too, so keep that in mind. He could still transfer to another school instead of ultimately going into the NBA draft, but the word is out. Clearly, Bronny wants to go to the NBA, or else this would have never happened. Is he ready for the NBA? That remains to be seen. Bronny James is a freshman at USC, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 37% from the floor. Not really a great season for Bronny James. Not a great season as a whole for him, but he had a lot of things going on this season. He came into the season with the heart troubles. He eased into this season, so he didn't have a real prominent role on the team. And think about it, the team wasn't really that good, if we're being honest. USC team this year, they kind of bombed a little bit. The best star at USC is Juju on a beat. It's Juju Watkins. She's the best star right now at USC. So Bronny James, you got to step it up a little bit, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're ready for the NBA right now, but a few things to remember. A lot of fringe prospects declare for the draft every year and still return to college. This process allows them to receive a lot of evaluations from NBA scouts and see which teams would be interested in them. If they are going to the NBA, which teams they need to be like, they're not really checking for me like that. Or if they feel like they should go back to school and really up their draft stock, which is what I think Bronny should do. I think Bronny should go back into college, transfer to a new school. We can have a more prominent role, not USC, a starting role to really do some damage in college and really up his draft stock. All college players, they have to go through the March Madness tournament if they want to succeed in the NBA, in my opinion. That's where you make your name for yourself. That's where you make your popularity, everything in March Madness. So that's I would always recommend a collegiate player to go through a March Madness tournament before they enter themselves in the draft, because it's important. It's very important. Now, the question is Bronny ready? I don't know. From what I've seen, this is from what I've seen. No disrespect at all. From what I've seen, it doesn't look so. No disrespect at all. He just didn't play enough. He didn't play enough, in my opinion. I didn't see enough from Bronny James to really let me believe that he's NBA ready. I didn't see enough of him. I think he should just stay in school another year, raise your stock, and to be honest, I would say it like that. Let me refrain from any comments that I'm about to say about Bronny until a later date, until we get closer to the draft. But I think he should go back to college. Go for another year, solidify yourself in the college ranks, up your NBA stock. But maybe this is all a plot right here for the Lakers to draft him. Maybe they're limited, but the Lakers don't have a first-round pick this year, I believe. I think they only have a second-round pick, 2 second-round picks. So with that being the case, if right now on people's draft boards, Bronny is a second-round pick, he would fall right into the Lakers' lap. And that would be easy for LeBron James. That's what he wants, to not move to another team and have Bronny come over there. But we'll see if any other teams are actually interested in Bronny, with the caveat thinking that LeBron James is going to move over to their team. We'll see if that happens. Who knows? But I think he should stay in school. And obviously, we know LeBron James has his fingerprints written all over this for Bronny James. So we'll see how that shakes out. In the comments, family, let me know if you think Bronny James is ready to go to the NBA. Let me know if you think he's ready to go now, or if he needs another year in school, and how his game will translate to the NBA. They say he got some NBA-ready defense. A bunch of people I saw compared him to Patrick Beverley. I'm going to leave that right there. If that's your NBA comp, go back to school, brother. Disrespect. Nike unveiled their new Victor Wembanyama logo. And I must say, this looks solid. I like it. Shout out to Wemby for getting his new deal. His shoe deal with Nike is worth over $100 million. He will be featured as one of their featured athletes moving forward, as we all know. No surprise there. Obviously, we know what type of crazy season that Wemby has had so far. Thus far, I'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about our season awards. But the logo is fire to me. Looking at it on the screen right now, the logo looks fire to me. I can't complain at all. I love the alien in the field. I love all of that. It looks great. Shout out to Nike. They did a great job, as they usually do with their athletes. I think later on in the summertime, maybe I'll do an episode on the best Nike endorsements or best Nike logos from athletes in the NBA over the years, because they've had quite a few good ones. Shout out to them. Also, let's talk about statues. Allen Iverson's statue in Philly this weekend, or last week or whatever, was revealed in Philadelphia. Allen Iverson is the 10th 76er grade to receive a statue on the Legends Walk in front of the team's training complex facility in Camden. He joined Charles Barkley, Will Chamberlain, Julius Erving, Maurice Cheeks, Moses Malone, Billy Cunningham, Hal Greer, Bobby Jones, Dolph Schayes as an honoree in the Philadelphia 76ers Legends Walk. So his statue was debuted there. Obviously, AI is one of the best and most iconic players to ever grace the floor, ever grace the hardwood, ever be in Philadelphia. With all the prominent athletes that have played there in the city of Philadelphia. 4 scoring titles, an NBA MVP, led his franchise to their last trip to the NBA Finals, which is 2001. That was the last time the Philadelphia 76ers were ever in the finals. That's the last time they ever made it to the conference finals or above. So shout out to AI. Obviously know he's a Philly legend. We know how iconic he is to basketball as a whole. If you're anywhere near my age, mid-30s, you know how influential he is to the culture. You see we got my boy AI on the table as usual. I had to add him to the mantle. AI is one of my favorite players ever. Grew up watching Allen Iverson. Everybody in my era, I grew up in Brooklyn, Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York City. Allen Iverson was prevalent everywhere in every city. It doesn't matter where it was. He was iconic for this generation, iconic for the game, one of the best players to ever lace it up. Allen Iverson was a solid guy. And a lot of people were clowning the size of the statue, but they're dumb. And you know why? Because they don't do their research. If you look at the rest of the statues that Philadelphia has, all of them are that size. It's called the Legends Walk, like I said before. That's around their practice facility. It's in front of their practice facility. So all the 76ers great, all of their statues are lined up in front of the practice facility. So all of their statues are their size. So if you are thinking that, oh, they disrespecting him with that statue, you don't know anything about the NBA. Do your research, my brother. Before we get into the season awards, we got to talk about the Golden State Warriors. We got to talk about the collapse of the Golden State Warriors last night. I can't believe I'm even talking about this right now. I was actually gearing up to give them a playoff preview in one of their matchups playing against the Oklahoma City Thunder because that's who I assume they will play with because I thought they were going to get into the playoffs. But we got to talk about that collapse last night. They got smoked. They got smoked last night by the Sacramento Kings. It was disgusting to watch. If I'm being honest, it was disgusting to watch. The game had great energy, great game, great crowd going on, back and forth, high-paced game. But it was disgusting to watch them get slaughtered by the Sacramento Kings, who were missing players as well. I really can't believe what I was watching last night. Now, they lost. Can't make the playoffs. 10th seed this year. Is the Golden State Warriors dynasty over? The answer to that question is very simple. Absolutely. This shit is over. Let's be real now. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck right now. The Warriors, as we know it, they're done. It's time to move on right now. The Warriors as a whole, they were just too damn consistent all year. They were very inconsistent on offense and on defense this whole year. My problem with the Warriors, I don't know if it's a problem, but I think the issue with them is that they had too much depth this year. So much so that it hurt them. Let me tell you why. If you're a team with too much depth, that means you have too many qualified players to play, which in turn means less rhythm for those players who played and less rhythm for those players who are not even getting an opportunity to play. If you play basketball, you know basketball is a rhythm sport. It's a rhythm sport. You need rhythm, you need touches, you need to be on the floor, you need to be very active in order to be the best version of yourself that you can be on the floor. And how do you decide who gets those minutes if all of the players are qualified at their position? Nobody is light years better than anyone else. So they had a great roster. They had 10 or 11 deep, 2 deep at every position. Everybody would like to start, but everybody can't start. So because of that, it forces the coach, Steve Kerr, to overanalyze just because you feel like you have to make a move or you have to make a decision as a coach. And I think he was overanalyzing a lot of that all year. Excuse me. And the Warriors never really had any consistency. They had people in and out of the lineup. Steve Kerr didn't know who his best 5 was. He didn't know who his best 5 was. If you look at that game last night, Chris Paul played 17 minutes. Trace Jackson Davis played like 15, 17 minutes. Those have been one of your better players all year. You had Pods playing damn near 30 minutes. Klay Thompson with a donut. 0 for 10, 0 points, elimination game. Let's talk about Klay Thompson right now. It's time for Klay Thompson to leave the Warriors. I'm sorry to say. He may not leave the Warriors. He may take less to stay. But him as Klay Thompson, who we thought he was, it's over. In my opinion, it is time for him to leave Warriors. Let's be honest this year. His role has evolved and he can no longer do what he once did. Steph Curry needs a shooting guard next to him that can cover up his flaws. And there are quite a few flaws that Steph Curry has on the defensive end of the floor. In years past, Klay Thompson was the perfect person to cover up a lot of those defensive flaws from Steph Curry because he would always guard the best opposing perimeter player. The problem now is he can't guard it. He can't guard the best player on the opposing team anymore. He's a little bit old. He's a little bit slower. And most importantly, he's damaged mentally. Not so much in a terrible way, but damaged mentally on the floor, meaning he doesn't believe that he can't do the things that he normally once did. He doesn't believe that as we do. So, and that's a lot of athletes go through this. You know, when their career is diminishing or they're in the twilight of their career, they can't really accept it. And he was having a lot of trouble this year, really accepting his new role and accepting his limitations. More importantly, so Klay Thompson, when he's making shots, the Warriors look good. They were 8-1 when he scored 20 or more. But it's time for him to go. I'm sorry. It's time for him to go. Let another team pay you a lot of money. I know the Orlando Magic are a team that's linked to him a lot. I like that move. I like Klay Thompson going over there to Orlando. It may not be the sexy move going from Golden State to Orlando, but Orlando was a solid team, and you're a veteran presence there. You could be a leader on that team. But he's too comfortable. We know he's going to want to stay in Golden State. We know how they are with that dynasty. They're holding on it for too long. In addition to that, with the dynasty, Draymond Green, he's washed. Let's be real. Draymond Green is washed. That's why, I'm sorry to tell the truth, he's washed. And because of that, that's why he relies on so many antics now to get him throughout the season. He was suspended too many times this year. He did too much nonsense this year. He didn't even start the season with them. He was injured. It was a terrible season for Draymond Green. After getting his contract, he got that money and said, I'm doing whatever I want to do. Terrible. He's washed. Steph Curry, he's just an offensive player right now. No disrespect at all. He's a Hall of Famer, one of the great players in this league. Obviously, one of the greatest point guards of all time. But he's just an offensive player right now. Let's be real. Great leader. Good leader. But he's just an offensive player. He's an offensive juggernaut. That he is, yes. But he's just an offensive player. He cannot carry a team as he once was before. And in order for him to succeed, his team around him has to be perfect. And this team just had a lot of flaws in their roster and just a lot of aging guys in this roster, which never really gets it done. By the way, free CP3. Free CP3, please, Lord. Free CP3 right now. Please get my boy up out of there. Get him to another team. He cannot end his career this way, in this fashion, on this squad. We didn't want him to be there anyway. I don't know. I mean, he didn't really approve it. I mean, he got traded there. He didn't necessarily sign there, but it was terrible. Take CP3, don't even look at those dudes again. Get up out of there. Get to your new squad, somewhere that fits you, where you could be the starting point guard, because you're still starting point guard caliber. You just can't play as many minutes. So, free CP3. Kuminga, he had a breakout year, but he's not a franchise player yet. They shouldn't be giving him a max contract, 16-4 this year. He's not max contract worthy. He's a good player, still learning. Not max player worthy. Andrew Wiggins, he needs to rediscover his whole life and move on as well. There's a lot going on with Andrew Wiggins outside of basketball. He wasn't with it this year. His heart wasn't in it. His head wasn't in it. It's time for him to go. Maybe ship him off to the Raptors. He needs to go over there to Canada so he can be closer to home. And only, to me, in my opinion, only Draymond and Steph should remain in Golden State. Not because those two are the greatest. I'm just saying, to make sense right now, you can't throw everybody away. But I think Draymond could stay because I don't think anybody else is going to want it, to be honest. Steph Curry, obviously, you can't move him. That's not a problem. But the Warriors dynasty, as we know it, is over. They got to make some changes in this offseason. All right, family. Let's dive into the official Above the Rim NBA 2023-2024 season awards. Now, full disclosure, I don't give a damn what you think, or I don't give a damn what everybody else thinks or what they pick, right? Now, these are my picks, meaning I don't care who actually gets in. I don't care who those writers choose. These are my picks. This is for the show, ATR, Above the Rim. These are my season awards to people who I think deserve the awards. If you agree, if you agree or disagree, I'm open to conversation, but I just had to preface it by saying that. So let's start off with some of the individual awards. Coach of the Year. Now, obviously, they already decided on who Coach of the Year is, but I'm here to say that I disagree. with that decision. Oklahoma City Thunder's coach Mark Daignault, I'm always saying that name wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Excuse me, the OKC coach. The OKC had a stellar season. Mark, he won Coach of the Year. I would have gave it to somebody else. Now, my person that I would have gave Coach of the Year to is Jamal Mosley. Jamal Mosley of the Orlando Magic. Orlando was set for just his third playoff trip in the past 12 seasons. Major growth on third-year coach Jamal Mosley. 22 and 60 in his first year. 34 and 48 in his second year. Third year now, 47 and 35. Fifth place in the East. Playoff berth. I love how Jamal Mosley turned his team around from a laughingstock in the league to the number 3 defensive team in the NBA. Number 3 defensive team in the NBA. In another episode, I'm going to talk about their first round series against the Cavs, which I love the Magic chances in that series. So I'm going with Jamal Mosley, Coach of the Year, in my opinion. Sixth Man of the Year. Quite a few options. Not great options. With Bobby Portis, Norman Powell, Bogdanovich, Naz Reid. And my choice, Malik Monk of the Sacramento Kings. I'm going with Malik Monk for Sixth Man of the Year. I think he's been exceptional all year. I think he's been a catalyst of that team. I cannot believe the Kings actually beat the Warriors without Malik Monk. It's really ridiculous because Malik Monk is a dog on that team. He's one of the most important players on that team, and I can believe he's a free agent at the end of the year, and he's looking for some big money. So let's see if the Kings are going to pay him or somebody else. But Malik Monk, Sixth Man of the Year, in my opinion, he's been excellent. Come off the bench, a microwave scorer, and then also running the reserve unit as well. Shout out to Malik Monk, Sixth Man of the Year. Most Improved Player of the Year. Quite a few options. I run through these. They had Tyrese Maxey was one of the options, second in the league in minutes per game. He averaged 25 and 6 this year. He went from 20 to 25 points per game this year. Went from 3 assists to 6 assists per game this year. Excellent season for Maxey. Jalen Williams, he went from 14 points per game to 19 points per game this year from the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's a candidate. Kobe White, he went from 9 points per game to 19 points per game, from 3 assists to 5 assists this year. He started 2 games last year. Started 78 games this year. So Kobe White, he's a valuable Most Improved Player of the Year candidate. Donte DiVincenzo from the Knicks. He increased his scoring average from 9 to 15 points per game this year. He's third in the NBA in three-pointers made this year. He thrived in his starting role and became more important due to his ability to hit from 3 beyond the arc. He drained triples at a career high rate this year in both volume and both in efficiency. Donte DiVincenzo, I love what he's doing for the Knicks. I'm going to talk about them in the next episode of how important he is for the Knicks right now, because they are not going anywhere if he doesn't score up to what he's been doing lately, because Julius Randle is out. So shout out to DiVincenzo. And then my pick for Most Improved Player of the Year, I'm going with Cam Thomas. I'm going with Cam Thomas for the Brooklyn Nets. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Cam Thomas as Most Improved. He doubled his minutes from 16 last year to 31 this year. Doubled his minutes and also doubled his points. He went from 10 points per game last year to 22 points per game last year. That is a major, colossal jump. Doubled, as I said before, doubled his minutes, doubled his points. Also, he started 4 games last year, started 51 this year. So he's coming into his own, and the definition of most improved is that right there. Double your minutes, double your points, double your starts. That's how you gain it. That's how you become most improved. And next year, we'll see how he will do next year, because this year he was chucking a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. He was taking a lot of crazy shots. He wasn't fast enough. Next year, he has to play smarter. He's established himself as a scorer in the league. Next year, it's time to play smarter and see how you can help your teammates get better. So I'm going with Cam Thomas. Rookie of the Year, come on now. Come on now. Stop playing with me. We know what it is. If you listen to me, if you read my tweets and all of that, you know who the Rookie of the Year is. I don't think it's even a question. Victor Wembanyama, historic Rookie of the Year season. 21, 11, 3 blocks, numbers not seen since Shaq. Most blocks by a rookie in the 21st century. First rookie with 300 plus stocks since Shaq. First 5x5 rookie in first 5 and 5 game by a rookie in 20 seasons. Third all-time in blocks per game by a rookie. He joins David Robinson and Tim Duncan as the only rookies in NBA history to record 30-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, 5-plus assists, 5-plus blocks in a game. More career blocks than 86% of the players in NBA history. In his rookie year, Victor Wembanyama became the first player in NBA history to record 1,500-plus points, 250-plus blocks, 100-plus three-pointers made in the same season. Those are unprecedented numbers. Some people are calling it the best rookie season ever, but I wouldn't go that far. There's still a lottery team at the end of the day. The Spurs needed to win more games. And if you look at Wemby's rookie season compared to LeBron's rookie season, it's pretty similar. You know, some may say very comparable. Some may say Wemby's was even a little bit better. But the hype is not comparable, though. LeBron James' hype coming out of high school was ridiculous. Even before social media, even before all of that. Wemby had some hype. But LeBron had the weight of the world on his shoulders when he was coming to the NBA. So I always say he came in as the most scrutinized young athlete of all time coming into NBA. So shout out to LeBron. Shout out to Wemby. He's definitely Rookie of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year. You know I'm going Wemby on this too. We making history, man. The first player ever to win Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season, Victor Wembanyama. That's how I'm looking at it. Remember how we measure Defensive Player of the Year. Statistical impact, defensive rating, consistency and durability. Last but not least, perception. Our opponent's fearful of you. They don't fear Rudy Gobert, so it has to be Victor Wembanyama. Let's be real. He's averaging 10-3 in the season. Last player to do that was MVP Shaq. Like I said before, second youngest player to record 10 blocks in a game. He leads the NBA in blocks. Had more blocks in the month of February than 5 NBA teams as a whole. Come on now. He led the NBA in stocks, which is steals and blocks, with almost 5 a game. Let me give you another stat. Games with 5-plus blocks this season. Victor Wembanyama, 24. Rudy Gobert, 3. Look at that difference. Victor Wembanyama's Defensive Player of the Year, like I said before, more career blocks than 86% of all players in NBA history already in his rookie season. Rudy Gobert getting that 4th Defensive Player of the Year would tie him with Dikembe Mutombo, Ben Wallace for the most ever, and that would be ridiculous. Rudy Gobert is not like that, okay? He's not dominating on the defensive end in that manner, okay? Stop playing. Clutch Player of the Year. It's either between Steph Curry or either between DeMar DeRozan. Not great choices right here. DeMar DeRozan in the clutch. Second in the league in the clutch. Clutch points. Steph is first in the league, in clutch points. Field goal percentage about the same, 48-49%. 3-point percentage about the same, 46-45%. Free throw percentage, Steph is 95. DeMar DeRozan, 87. I'm going with Steph for the Clutch Player of the Year. I'm going to Steph because mainly I remember his performance early in the year against the Suns when he hit that 3-pointer to win the game, and it was about 1 second left or whatever the case may be on Bradley Beal when he went for the steal and he didn't get it. So shout out to Steph Curry. I will remember that. And I'm going with him as the Clutch Player of the Year. Last but not least, we got to talk about the MVP award right now. This was a tough MVP year. A lot of guys have really good cases. We got Luka in it. We got Giannis in it. We got Jokic in it. We got Tatum in it. Who else? We got SGA in it. MVP was very tough this year. Luka's case, 34-9-10. He's won the scoring title. First 33-99 season in NBA history. Most 30-point triple-double since MVP Russ. First in 35-point games. First in 40-point games. Top 3 in points, assists, and threes. The youngest scoring champ in 12 years. Most points per game, rebounds per game, and assists per game by an individual player since the merger. Luka's been doing his thing. Giannis, 30-12-7, first ever 30-10-5 season on 60% field goal shooting in NBA history. Top 5 in points and rebounds. First in 30 and 15 games. He's first in 40 and 15 games. He's first in transition points. He averaged better numbers here than in his MVP season. That's Giannis' case for MVP. Jokic, he could possibly win his 3rd MVP in 4 seasons. He would crash the company of Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Moses Malone, and Michael Jordan. 26-12-9. Only one in the top 5 in points, rebounds, and assists. Jokic, he's having a tremendous year once again. I personally will not have him as the MVP, but I know a lot of people are leaning towards him. But let me get to the rest of the people. SGA, MVP case, 36-6 with 2 steals. First in the league in 30-point games. Most 30-point games since 2019, James Harden. He led the NBA in steals, or I think he's 1 or top 2 or something like that. Top 3 in isolation and transition points. Best player on the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. In the most difficult conference was the Western Conference. He joined Steph Curry and Michael Jordan as the only guards in NBA history to average 35, 5, and 2 on 50% field goal percentage in a season. His Oklahoma City Thunder is the youngest team in NBA history to 57 wins and to get a number 1 seed. He shot 57% in the clutch. The Thunder were 22-11 in clutch games that he's played in. The Thunder as a whole this season, as a team this season, top 5 in offensive rating, defensive rating, top 3 in steals, first in blocks, first in 3-point percentage, most wins since a 2014 season, the youngest number 1 seed of all time. You got to give SGA some credit, man. 36-6, number 1 seed, 0 all-star teammates in a historically tough Western Conference. I've seen people win MVP for less, let's be honest. Last but not least, Jason Tatum. Best player on the best team. The Celtics have been by far the best team in the league all year. Continue to be an elite perimeter defender through an entire season. Basic MVP criteria here. Best player on the best team. Does he have the best team? Yes. Is he the go-to guy for said team? Yes. Is he top 10 in points? Yes. 26, 8, and 4, a career high in assists for him. Only 3 other players have put up 27, 8, and 4, and 60% true shooting percentage on a team with a 75% win percentage. Giannis, Karl Malone, Kareem. And guess what? All 3 of those guys won MVP. So for my choice for MVP, I'm sorry to say, but I'm switching it up, y'all. I'm switching it up. I can't believe this. I'm switching up. I have to go with an executive order. I was going Jason Tatum the whole time up until this last week. I really love what I'm seeing from SGA. I can't lie. I'm going to give it to SGA. Listen, I don't mind if Jason Tatum gets it. You know, I've been shouting for Jason Tatum for years right now, but I think SGA, man, individually, I think he's been the best individual player in the league this season. Individually, Jason Tatum, best team, clearly. But I think SGA has beaten out Jason Tatum individually as the best player in the league. Individually, listen, he's unguardable. SGA, he can't be stopped right now. I got to give him credit. We're going to see how his stuff translates to the postseason. But right now, SGA has been incredible individually. He's unstoppable. It doesn't matter who you put on him. It doesn't matter who you put on. He can do anything right now. Pull-ups, hezzies, mid-range, 3-pointers, stop on a dime, jab steps, everything. He can do everything right now. So shout out to SGA for his meteoric rise. And shout out to him. I think he should win MVP, but I won't be mad if Jason Tatum wins it too. Both of those two, I wouldn't be mad if they did co-MVP, to be honest. So I'll give it to that. I know I did a switch up, family. Don't kill me. I know I did a switch. I talked about Jason Tatum. I had a whole episode on that. I know, but I can't even decide. Either one of them can win it. Rather not to show my All-NBA teams. This wasn't too hard for me, but you guys might be surprised by my third team. All-NBA first team, I think it's pretty easy and clear. SGA, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic as my 5 my All-NBA first team. All-NBA second team, Jalen Brunson, Ann Edwards, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard. That's my All-NBA second team. All-NBA third team, Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, Paolo Banchero, Victor Wembanyama. That's who I'm putting in my All-NBA third team. I know you're probably like, what? Paolo and Wemby? Yes. Paolo and Wemby. You heard it from me. Paolo this season, don't sleep on him. 22, 6, and 5. The youngest forward in NBA history. The youngest forward to average 25 and 5 in a single season, trailing only LeBron James. The youngest person in NBA history to lead his team in scoring, rebound, and assists in a season. Shout out to Paolo. Got the Magic in the playoffs. Wemby, he will be the rare case of a player on a poor team that I will be putting on the All-NBA third team. But to me, his impact speaks for itself. I don't think there was another player better than. I don't think there were 15 players better than Wemby this year. So I got to give him credit on that. He already has more blocks than 80% of the players in the league, all while averaging a 20-10 double-double. Not numbers seen since MVP Shaq. Come on now. He's been a top 15 player in the league the entire season. I got to give him some credit. I'm not a hater. You can hate and say Wemby don't deserve it, but he deserves it in my opinion. You know I know what I'm talking about. He deserves it. So All-NBA third team, Steph, Book, Paolo, Anthony Davis, and Victor Wembanyama. Family, I appreciate you again for joining me for another episode. Make sure you hit me up on Twitter, IG, Facebook with your NBA takes. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my season awards. Let me know if you think the Golden State Warriors dynasty is done. Let me know what you think about Wemby's logo, Allen Iverson's statue, all of that good stuff. Let me know. Send in your voicemail with your thoughts, 908-718-1592. Family, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you keep it locked. Stay tuned for my NBA playoff preview episode coming up right now. This is episode 221, family, and we out.